Hey guys, get ready with me. I know, your girl looks crusty. Listen, I just woke up. But I told myself I would do this get ready with me from start to finish. Because normally I give you guys only halvesies, so I'm not giving you halvesies today. But anyway, I did want to talk about like random stuff. So as you guys know, your girl tends to work a lot, but lately I decided that it's just not worth it. So I want to focus on college, and I'm taking a class, but unfortunately I do have to pay for that class out of pocket. So it's like, I want to focus on college, and then I just, spend a bunch of money on college, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta work more to pay for it, but oh well, it's okay. I decided that, I'm just gonna work my little, 55 whatever hours a week, as opposed to what I was doing, which is 90. That's because 90 hours a week just isn't sustainable. I was thinking to myself, man, it's hard to really focus on job quality when I have multiple jobs, and that had really bothered me. And I was like, well, it'd be easier if I just worked less at each job. So that's what I decided to do. I still work at my main one full time, and then some, and then I work on my other one 8 hours a week, and then the third one I work kind of like as needed, if you will. So the hours per week just depends on what's going on, and that has been a lot better for me because I kind of get to choose my schedule for the third one, which is really nice. And so far it's worked okay. I've still made, enough money at each job that it's been okay. I'm not gonna, I don't know. I racked up some debt, just like with my car, and then there was that month there where I was only working that one full-time job, really, because the other one, I don't know. It doesn't matter what happened, but there was a month where I was really only working one full-time job, and to put it into perspective, my full-time job pays me $200 less than what I need to survive, like my bare minimum bills. That doesn't include groceries, it doesn't include gas money, so that wasn't really cutting it, and I did rack up some credit card bills that I need to pay off. So there's that, and then of course, every year in taxes, I don't know what I do wrong, but for the past 2 years I've owed quite a bit in taxes, so that is also a bill that I had to prepare for, and save up for, and all that jazz. So, but look, your girl knows that I have a big forehead, okay? Here's the thing, before I went to bed today, I was feeling myself, like, oh, I'm so pretty, blah, 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 whatever. And then I went to bed and woke up, and I was like, yep, never mind. I don't know, because it might be old bags under my eyes. And the fact that my hair is, crazy, which I put this hair oil in it, and that would be cool if it didn't make it greasy, but it does, so. Anyway, I'm going to wash my face, because it's clearly in need of some TLC, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. This is what I look like after I run, by the way, but also red, like a tomato, just in case you were curious. Honestly, I haven't been on a run in a while, and it makes me feel fat and lazy, but what can I say? I don't know. It has also been an adjustment going back to an in-person job, which I'm grateful for, but it just, labor intensive and things like that I had to readjust to. And again, I'm grateful for it. I need a job that's going to be, laborious and going to offer me those physical challenges. And then just seeing people. That's what I needed, really, was to see people. So I'm glad that I am back in person. It's what I needed. I spent 8 months working from home, which isn't a long time, but it just really ate at my mental health. not seeing people and things like that. So, I mean, I still worked my other jobs where I saw people, but I don't know. It's different. It is different. Also, just like in general, work from home. I have ADHD, so it was really hard to focus and other complications like that that just did not bode well for me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so if I'm not acing it, right, and exceeding expectations of my job, it really burns me out really fast, you know? So, but anyway, like I said, back to being in person, which I'm grateful for. I still work for the same company. I just went back to what I did at the very beginning of my time there, which is working in the cafeteria, you know, so. But what's frustrating about going back is there are so many people that are new. Like, it's food services. The turnover rate is high. So even though I was still multi-jobbed, so technically I still held this job all throughout that 8 months. A multi-job is like when, you guys probably know, but when they need you, you know, they'll ask you to come out and do your thing, and then, yeah, so all that jazz. So technically, I was still multi-jobbed, and there were the occasional time where I would still go back and help out, you know, but it wasn't always the cafeteria. Actually, mostly it was the bakery, and then I helped out with a couple caterings, and then, you know, I don't even think during that 8 months I worked a shift in the cafeteria. So the new people that don't know me, right, you gotta earn their respect again. And that was disheartening to me, right? Because I feel like with food services especially, you can't just go in and everybody's like buddy, right? You gotta earn their respect in some manner. Well, the only way that I know how to do that, because I can be kind of annoying. Right? By that, I mean I'm pretty anal retentive about my job. I think that places like that set up things specific ways to make the job easy. Like, it's not a hard job. And if you just follow the company standard and the company guidelines and whatever, right, it's going to be easier than you doing your own thing. But I also feel like at the same time, you do have to find your own rhythm and things like that. So it's like an in-between. But I am pretty, like, strict rules, strict on food safety, strict on, like, the standard. You know, if a pizza says it gets 8 pepperonis, I'm putting 8 fucking pepperonis on it. Right? And that may sound terrible, but it's quality control, it's consumption control. We are a nonprofit hospital, so any extra food that we're giving out and not charging for, right, that hurts the entire department. We can hire less people that way, like, because it's nonprofit. We're barely making any money off of what we're selling, right? We're offering it to the employees at a big old discount. They basically get it at cost, right? And everybody else has to pay a little bit extra, but that little bit extra helps us pay our labor, right? And we don't get a profit outside of that, right? And if there is a profit outside of that, it goes directly back into the company in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, it's a hospital, right? A lot of people want to bitch about how expensive hospitals are, and they are. But if more people would pay their bills, I feel like they wouldn't have to be as expensive. I don't know. That's a whole different topic. Do I like how expensive healthcare is? Absolutely not. I personally avoid the doctor like the plague for that reason. But anyway, a whole different bag of worms. Basically, what I'm saying is, especially where I work, I am very, like, anal retentive about what I do and how I do it. And people find that incredibly annoying, which I understand, right? I definitely understand. Okay, so for the most part, I keep it to myself. Now, for 4 years there, I was a supervisor. Okay? It's weird the way that they do it. So I was a supervisor of catering. That was me. That was my whole world, catering. Right? But because I started out in the cafeteria, even though I'd only been there for 2 months, they had offered me a shift lead position as well. So I got both, really. I wasn't a multi-job per se. It was just both titles. So I got the catering coordinator, supervisor position, whatever. And then I was also a shift lead in the cafeteria. So anytime I entered the cafeteria, if there wasn't, of course, I was like the last resort. If there wasn't another shift lead on duty, I was in the shift lead. If there wasn't a shift lead on duty, They're the they're the MOD, they're the manager in charge, whatever, right? But there were times where I would be the shift lead, okay? Very few and far between, but there were times, right? So coming from that to just being back to being your basic cafeteria lady, technically I still multi-job as the catering, coordinator, if you will, but they don't really need me for catering, so they don't ask me, which is fine. I got asked to do one, maybe like once every 4 months I get asked to do one, so they barely use me for caterings anymore, and that's totally fine. But I'm not multi-jobbed as a shift lead anymore. So I'm just your basic cafeteria person. So going from a shift lead to that has been an adjustment. Because typically in food service, I'm pretty used to being management. Once again, it's because I'm anal retentive. That is what it is. I am very particular about my standards and how I do things. And I'm very particular about how the customers are treated. So even though I'm not a strict manager to other people, I'm very strict on myself. And I try to lead by example. But that can be incredibly lonely when nobody respects it, if you will. Which, once again, I understand. I'm sorry, but quite honestly, they don't get paid enough to care. Our starting wage is 25 cents above minimum wage so that we can be competitive. But minimum wage doesn't pay my bills. I make more than that, clearly. I've been there. I hope I make more than that. I've been there a while. But, and I still don't get paid enough to pay my bills. So it's I get it for sure. But at the same time, if you're not going to meet the quality standard, at least food safety wise, don't work there. Don't work in a hospital. We're serving patients. We're serving patient families. We're these people, some of them are very sick, If they get something like food poisoning or salmonella, we could kill somebody, right? And that's just how that is. So our first state of control is how we, discipline ourselves. Like I said, I'm not really somebody who gets onto others unless if it's directly affecting the people that we're serving. So I'll give you an example, right? And once again, keep in mind, I'm no longer a shift lead, so I no longer have a say. And these people, most of them are new. So they don't really know me. They don't know that I was a shift lead for 4 years. They don't know that I was a catering coordinator for 4 years. They don't know that I will literally bend over backwards for them, and I am the employee advocate. I am the employee advocate. I am the patient advocate. I am the person advocate. I am the person who fought for the volunteers to get extra money because they get an allowance to spend for lunch. I'm the one who fought and succeeded to get them extra money for said allowance, right? I'm the one who fought and succeeded to get people different foods that they wanted, whatever, right? So I am the advocate. They don't know that. They don't know me. All they know is I come in there and I'm strict on different things that we do, and I'm not even a manager, right? So I'll give you an example. They were opening at 1:10. We opened, this was late night, right? So we opened from 1 to 3:30 a.m. This is why it's important to be exactly on time. It's because some of these people that we're serving only get a 30-minute lunch, right? And this is a big hospital. They come from all different parts of the hospital. They might walk 10 minutes to get to us, right? And then they got to walk 10 minutes back. Okay, so that means that they only get 10 minutes in the cafeteria, right? That's not a lot of time. All right, so I'm trying to get these people in and out. If they have to wait 10 minutes for us to open, they're going to be late back on their break, which is going to affect their entire floor, right? And I've done it. I've done patient care. So I understand how important it is to be on time for things. And again, this is just my anal retentiveness. I'm sure it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. 10 minutes isn't really a big thing. But if you're consistently 10 minutes late, it's a problem, And there's no reason. So I told him when I came in. Well, I let it slide for 2 nights, right? Because I thought that it wasn't going to be a pattern. But once it starts becoming a pattern, I'm going to step in, regardless of whether I'm a shift lead or not. Because there's no reason. I'm sorry, we have plenty of time to prepare. We close at 8. So we have those 5 hours in between to prepare for business. There's no reason that we aren't open. Also, I ask them all the time, like, do you need any help with anything? Are we on track? Like, are we whatever? Right? Because I want us to be on time. And I'll make that effort to make sure that we are. Right? I will work myself I will be running around like a chicken with my head cut off, helping you and doing my stuff, just to make sure that we get open on time. All right? I will be the team player that you need me to be. But like I said, they got very upset because the first thing that I changed when I came back was we're not opening at 1:10. We're opening at 1 exactly. Right? One of the guys confronted, and he's new. He's been there for maybe 2 months. And he's got this idea of how late nights works because that's how he's seen it work for 2 months. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've been here 4 years. Just because they're doing it wrong doesn't mean that's how it happens. That doesn't mean that's how we do it. But he's convinced that, like, that's how we do it. And because I haven't been there for 2 months and he doesn't know me, he just automatically thinks that I'm the one doing it wrong. I'm very by the book. I'm annoyingly I'm so meticulously by the book, it's not even funny. Right? And that's a problem. That's a problem socially. Okay? Right? But anyway, so he told me, he comes up to me and he goes, hey, I noticed that you've been opening at 1. You have to wait until we're ready. I was like, you got me fucked up. Try again. Try again. First time say that, I was like, I will ask you if you're ready, and if you need help, I am more than willing to help you so that we open on time. But we open at 1. I was like, I will open at 1 every day. We open at 1. Be ready at 1. Right? And the next day comes along, and he's pissed. He's mad. Right? He has this grudge against me because I made that the standard. Because I'm the one who decides to open, at 1, as opposed to waiting 10 minutes for everybody to be ready. And here's the thing. He was ready. Like, he wasn't even advocating for him. He was advocating for his counterpart who's never ready on time. Right? So he's always been ready at 1. That's what trips me out. Why are you mad at me if you're ready? Go help your brother. It's not actually your brother, but you get what I'm saying. Right? But, so it was nice of him to advocate, and because of that, automatically, he has my respect. He's good at his job. He knows what he's doing. He sets the quality standard. And I'm grateful that he's on our team. He's already got my respect. But he's pissed off at me because of these little things that I've been very strict on. Like opening exactly at 1, right? So next day comes along, it's about 10 minutes before. I'm like, hey guys, are we ready to open? And I was like, do you need any help with anything? Is there anything that you need from downstairs? Like, what can I do for you? Because my stuff's done. I'm done and collected. We're ready to go. I'm ready to help you. I've got 10 minutes. What do you want me to do? Right? Well, nobody needed my help. Okay, cool. Then I am assuming that we're going to be ready to open at 1. Right? They're fucking around, just standing around talking. They're ready. 1 o'clock comes. I open the doors. Right? Well, I go to open the doors. I go, hey, we're ready, right? And the guy goes, well, no, this one person's not here. He was in the back sending the text or whatever. I was like, okay, well, I'm opening the doors regardless. That one person covers deli. So I ran over to the deli to cover for him while he was doing whatever it was he was doing. Who knows? Right? So I go over to cover deli. That's terrible. And then he comes back and he's pissed. And he goes, my people know that I'm going to be worth the wait. And I'm faster than anybody in here. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just because you don't know me and you haven't seen how I work doesn't mean that you get to assume that you're the best in the building. That's your first mistake. Right? Don't assume that you're the smartest in the room. Don't assume that you're the best in the building. Okay? Look, I suck at cooking. I'll be the first to say it. I work food services and I worked food services for 11 years. I am the worst cook you will ever meet. But when it comes to deli, which is cold sandwiches, and when it comes to building sandwiches, make a table, I have 11 years of experience. I'll wipe the floor with you, first off. And you owe that. Like, don't get me started, okay? Second, it doesn't matter, all right? You can come back, and be super fast or whatever, which he's not. He was just saying that, right? And again, I think he just doesn't understand how old he is and how much that's affect his, maybe he was super fast when he was young. He's not anymore, and he doesn't, grasp that concept, right? But other than that, it's like, you could be the best sandwich maker here. Don't make these people wait. There's no reason. Like, we were ready. You were ready. Why are you not ready now? There's no reason, right? And that's what I was trying to get across to him. It's like, it's very important for us to be open on time. Just because you've never done patient care and you haven't seen their side of it, like their world and how important it is for them not to be late, right? And some people are still late. Some people still don't care, right? Once again, a lot of them don't get paid enough to care. We don't pay enough in healthcare, and I'll be the first to say it, okay? But, like, still, the ones who do care and the patients that need them to be there on time, and we can help that process. So why not? You know, there's no reason to keep these people waiting. And there's also no reason to be mad at me in front of a whole line of employees waiting on you when I was trying to help you out and them. Right? So that rift is the first rift that started night shift. And that was like 4 days after I came back. Right? That's the first rift that started. I work with a bunch of guys. Okay? And I'm trying so hard to stop being so bitter and sexist. I'm giving it my best effort, guys. I really am. And I was doing so good for a while, like so good. And then I went back to night shift, and oh my God, these guys, it's like I've never worked somewhere with so much misogyny. Okay? Misogyny and like sexism, and like I didn't think it existed until I moved to Springfield and started this job. And I'll tell you why. Right? Once again, keep in mind, guys, that when I got the catering position, I was a supervisor. A supervisor. Okay? Here's the levels. All right? It goes your basic, right? Your basic people, your assistants, like, and we've got a good crew. Okay? They're pretty great. And here's the thing. I might be anal retentive and annoying, but I care about everybody that works there. Genuinely, I give a shit. Okay? So then we've got your basic bitches who I love and adore and will do anything for and try to advocate for whenever they need me to. Like, whenever somebody brings something up to me that's a problem, I'm going to go to higher ups and I'm going to tell them, hey, this is a problem. Let's fix it. What can I do to help? You know, kind of thing. So, like, we got your basic. Okay? And then we've got your shift leads. Okay? The unfortunate thing about the shift leads is they only get paid for being a shift lead when they're the only manager on duty. I hate that system. That's fucking annoying, but whatever. We got your shift leads, okay? And then we've got your supervisors. They're a supervisor all the time, okay? We got your supervisors. They run the different departments, the different areas, the whatever, right? And then we've got management. There is one manager for all of the entire hospital, which is a really big hospital, okay? And then we've got director. There's one director for all of food services at every hospital that we've got. Okay, so that's the tiers and how that goes. So supervisor's pretty good. Okay, and that's the highest that I could have gone without having a degree. Which is fine. That's how far I went. Okay. So once again, the fact that they like forget that, don't know that, don't care because I'm not a supervisor anymore, right? Is whatever, water under the bridge, right? What I care about is the fact that we still need to set that standard, regardless of what shift it's on, regardless of the fact that there's no managers on duty. Like, we still need to be bringing our very best to the table, and I'm going to push those people around me to be better, okay? But the thing is, when I was a supervisor, I was making less than every shift lead in the entire department, right? And it frustrated me. I was like, hey, catering matters. They were always telling me, like, catering is such an important job. It is the face, right? Because catering serves, like, board members and employees and things like that, right? They're like, it is the face of food services. Like, it's very important that you be very good at your job, you know? And I was like, if I'm so important, why am I making less than every other supervisor here? Why am I making less than the shift leads, you know? But anyway, after, like, 2 years, and keep in mind, my counterpart, who is the same level as me, right? The catering chef was making $2 more an hour. The first one was making $2 more an hour. We have the exact same amount of food service experience, except I had been there a year before him. Okay? He was making $2 more an hour than I was, starting out. That shit pissed me off. You only get a 30-cent raise every year. So to catch up to him, it would have taken a long time. Okay, and that shit pissed me off. Didn't matter because he left after a year anyway to go back to his old position that he had. Right? Good for him. Cool beans. Okay? But then we got the catering chef who was the catering chef before him. But like, whatever, COVID probably stopped that. I don't know what happened to him. Okay? Because he wasn't the catering chef that year. He was helping out, but like, he wasn't like in the position. Okay? Well, then we got him back. Now he's making $10 more than I am. According to like the standard, we're the same level. Yeah, he's making $10 more than me. And granted, the kitchen just has a higher pay level. They have a higher pay level. Okay? It's not much higher, but it is higher. It's not $10 higher. It's not $2 higher. Okay? So that in and of itself was super frustrating because once again, he had been there a lot longer than me. He's been at the company longer. But we have the same amount of food service experience. That's what pisses me off. He's very good at his job. Like, way better than the other guy. An incredible, like, chef. Very organized, very clean, like, very on top of things. A hard worker. Great. I'm not going to make too much of a fuss that he's making so much more than I am. Even though it pisses me off. And that wage gap that everybody talked about that I didn't really think existed, now I'm convinced that it does. Okay? Because in the same field, right, I am making less. Pisses me off. Whatever. Okay? Cool. That's just a small, tiny portion. Okay? I met the old director of food services. He stepped down because he was about ready to retire. So, he wasn't the director, like, in my entire time there. Okay? But he had stepped down maybe 2 years before I got there. And gave it to this other guy who's the director. Okay? I met him at a catering, big event. Okay? And I was doing my job and working my ass off and talking to him. And he started talking about how I needed to go home, stop working so much, and pop out a bunch of babies because that is the most precious thing in the world. And if I'm not doing that, I'm wasting my time. What the fuck? I was like, can you just respect and appreciate me in this position? But no, he couldn't offer me that. He just wanted to talk about how I need to go home and have kids. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? First off. Like, with your old school beliefs and shit like that. I was like, second, mind your own business. Whether or not I have kids, whether or not I intend on having more, like, my fertility is not your business, you know? Right? Stay out. I don't know. It just pissed me off. He knew nothing about me. Right? Absolutely nothing. Barely even talked to me for a second and was like, go have kids. And I was like, go fuck off. Like, why, like, respect me professionally or shut the fuck up. We're in a work setting. If you're my friend and you're like, oh, Autumn, like, I really like your parenting and I want you to be a mom, you know, whatever. Different. But we're in a professional setting and I'm doing my fucking job. Okay? Shut up. That pissed me off so much. Right? And that was my second impression of the rampant sexism. Okay? Within the company. And that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but that is very much the culture of that place. It's like, there's hardly any supervisors that are female, which is frustrating in and of itself. There's barely any supervisors that are female. The ones that are have been there a long time and are probably, if I had to guess, getting paid less than their male counterparts, and I only guess that based off of what I know to be true for myself. Okay? So I come back, and I had forgotten that this entire department is so sexist and misogynistic. I had completely left it out of my mind. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Right? I come back, and I'm working with only men. Right? Because it's night shift, and there's only men on shift. Okay? And I remember real fucking quick about the massage. Listen, I can't deal. That new guy that I was talking about, he goes up to the other guy who hasn't been there nearly as long as I have. Okay? He's been there the longest out of the night shift crew, except me. I'm back. Okay? I was there a long time. I need you to calm down. I'm going on 5 years. Okay? I need you to calm down. Right? So he hasn't been there nearly as long as I have. Food service just has a high turnover rate. Like, that's not like, but he has been there the longest. So I get that he has some kind of seniority. That's great. And I get that I need to earn mine back because I haven't been there in 8 months. Great. I'm more than willing to do that. Okay? But what I don't like is if you're trying to find out about me, you come and talk to me. Why the fuck are you asking people that don't even know me? You know, once again, these people might know me professionally, but I try to separate my professional and my personal life. Okay? So, I don't know. It's just very, very frustrating for me. Because he goes up to the... Oh, I don't even have mascara on. Because the new guy goes up to the other guy and he goes, hey, is she single? Is she single? I was like, first off, number one, I can hear you. Number two, if you got a question about me, you come and ask me. This guy doesn't even know me. Me and him have worked together plenty of times before, but we don't talk or ask personal questions or whatever. Like, we're just working. I'm like, with every other shifts, I'm like fun and exuberant, and I try to be fun, and I'm, you know, interactive. But night shifts, there's a reason we're on night shift, okay? Because we isolate ourselves. We like working alone, okay? So this guy doesn't know me. First off, why are you asking him? I'm right here. Second, I can hear you. Shut the fuck up. You don't need to know. We're not going to be a thing, okay? Ever. Ever. That's so mean. That's so mean. But it already, like, you lost my respect instantly when you ask somebody else if I'm single. Ask me, okay? Anyway, so then the guy was like, no, she's a single parent. No, he was like, yeah, but she's a single parent. So you don't want it. I was like, first off, what does being a single parent have to do with, like, my relationship status? Number one. I was like, second, don't be talking about my personal life if you don't know anything about it. Okay? Don't tell me about how, like, I'm a single parent, blah, blah, blah. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know my story. You don't know my family. You don't. Shut the fuck up. You know, stop talking. Also, once again, you don't want it because single parents are what? Less desirable? For why? That guy who said that is a single parent. I was like, what the fuck are you saying right now? Are you listening to yourself? Do you date people? Oh, you do? Okay. So you're saying that single parents can date? What an interesting concept. I don't know. The whole thing just pissed me off. It just pissed me off. I was like, why are we talking about me when I'm, like, right here and you could talk to me? I was like, second, he's so wrong that's not even fucking funny. Okay? And I was like, third, just keep my name out of your mouth. Right? There's no, you could be saying something super nice about me. If we're at work, don't say it to my face. Okay? If you want to be like, oh, you could be saying the nicest thing ever. You could be like, I'm such a good worker, like, she's always on time, she does her job very well, like, whatever. She's always helping other people, she's always advocating for other people, whatever. Don't talk about me to other people. Talk about me to me. If you want me to know that I'm doing a good job, tell me. Don't be telling everybody else. They don't fucking care. I'm not going to get a raise because somebody else thinks that I'm doing a good job. Alright? They don't care. Nobody cares. Tell me. Right? And if you have something bad to say about me, same thing. Tell me. Or just don't say it. There's that. Right? If you want to be like, oh, Autumn is single because she's a single parent and whatever the fuck misogynistic thing that you follow that with, don't. Like, I don't understand that. It just drove me crazy. I was like, why are we talking about my personal life that you know nothing about? Firstly. I was like, second, keep my name out of your mouth. Oh my lord. So I don't know. That was my first impression of that new guy. And it just bothered me. But I've been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt ever since. Like I said, he's very good at his job. So he has my respect in that sense. He wants to be there. There's another one that's newer than him. And that guy has very explicitly said that as soon as he finds a job at a different department on days, he's going to days. Right? Also good at his job though. So like, I don't hate it. I get it. Like, if he's putting in his best effort while he's there, that's awesome. Right? But this new guy also has decided that there are certain standards that have to be followed. Standards that somebody else set that just aren't, like, not, they don't actually exist, right? So I'll give you a for instance. According to him, there are 3 things that I have to do for the late night cooks, because the other guy that's been there forever does them. And I was like, the other guy does your work, but ignores his own. So he might be doing those 3 little things for you that you expect to be the standard and everybody do for you, but he's forgetting about, 17 things of his own that he has to do that I then pick up his slack for. So he might be helping you out, but he's jipping out his own self and other parts of his job. Like, he's affecting other people because he's not doing his job, and just because he's, helped you out doesn't mean that that's the standard, right? So then on my night alone, right, this guy comes up, goes to do his thing. He's like, hey, why didn't you do this for me? Because that's not my job, sir. First off, I didn't realize that other guy was doing that for you. That's awesome that he does that. That I can tell you, I can give you a list of things that he doesn't do that I have to pick up slack on, probably because he's out there kissing your ass, which doesn't make any sense to me, I was like, that's not my job. I will be happy to do it for you if you ask nicely, because I am that type of person who will help everybody out if you want me to. If it sets you back for me not to do it, I will do it for you. But confronting me and saying like, hey, this is part of your job, you have to do this. No, you got me fucked up. I'm not new. That's one thing that's been like the rift, is because they think I'm new, right? Even though they know I've been there for a while. The other guy told them that I was catering and I had nothing to do with the cafeteria, whatever. I was like, are you serious? I've worked more late night shifts than you, sir. Like, just because I was catering, I was picking up significant amount of overtime, helping out every other department. The only thing that I haven't done in food services at this hospital is the dietech office, and that's because I avoid that office like the plague. I've done everything else. I've done tray line, I've done prep, I've done bakery. I was a bakery trainer for a while, okay? And I've most certainly done cafeteria, especially late nights, because we always need help on late nights. So I was like, that guy needs to shut the fuck up, okay? He's got you convinced that I've never done late nights before. I know what I'm doing, okay? I'm the one who helped build some of these standards. All right, I'm the one who helped build the structure for late night, because we didn't have a structure when I started. So don't tell me what my job is. I know for a fact that's not on my list. I made the fucking list. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating because I didn't say that to him. And if I would have said that to him, I would feel better. If I would just go off on these people, I would feel better. But no, because I respect him and I like that he does a good job, I was like, well, that's never been something that we actually do, but if you want me to do it, I will start doing it for you. Again, he's convinced that I don't know what I'm talking about. He goes, no, this is exactly what, you have to do this. This is a part of your job. You have to do this. Like, no, that's a part of what the other guy does for you. That's not a part of my job. I'll show you the fucking list. Once again, I made the fucking list. Okay? I will show you. It's not a part of my job at all. Nowhere in there does it say that I have to get this for you, or I have to set this out for you, or I have to do this for you. No, not a part of it. It's what the other guy does for you. And you're convinced that it's the standard. So it was frustrating because then we had that rift. He was like, well, you got to do this and this and this. And I was like, you got me fucked up. I don't got to do shit. But I will do it for you. It's your responsibility to take care of your own shit. But I will do it for you if you ask nicely. I don't know. It's been a whole thing with late nights. It's been a very hard, transition. Once again, it's a bunch of guys that just pit themselves together and, talk shit on me while I'm over there working my ass off because I'm a worker, right? And then there's one girl that works downstairs over now. One girl, right? A bunch of other guys. She works downstairs. She's come up to me. She saw me. She's been like, hey, Autumn, I think you're a really hard worker. I'm glad that you replaced the old guy because the old guy was hard worker, so we needed another one. So I'm really glad that you're here. I like your work ethic, whatever, right? She has said that to me. The other guys don't have the fucking balls to understand the concept that I might be a hard ass in some areas, but I am a hard worker, and there's not much I wouldn't do for that company because that's just who I am. I can't help myself. I just can't help myself. And if they ask for something that they feel like late nights is getting shorted on that the other shifts have, I'm going to be the first to advocate for them. Right? Because I know the bosses. I know administration. I know the CEO.
Like, if we need something, let me know. I will push and move and convince. Like, I will do what I can for you. Right? So you don't gotta be disrespectful. I don't know. So it's been an adjustment, guys. But, like, hopefully we'll get there. They just need to stop pitting themselves against me because I'm the only woman. It pisses me off.